Deion Sanders is lying to everybody because Colorado might be the worst team in the country. Let's talk about it.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to FanBuzz Weekly. I'm Tyler. That's Patrick. Let's go ahead and get into it because college football is back. Biggest game, obviously not the greatest slate of games. We had week 0, kind of a Navy, got dominated by Notre Dame. USC kind of show what they're made of. Some more interesting games this year, most notably Deion Sanders, first game for Colorado, going against the TCU Horned Frogs. Fascinating matchup, two teams in completely different spaces right now. Who's got more to play for right now? Is it Deion Sanders? Is it TCU coming back from this college football playoff? I'm curious about your thoughts.
All right. Who needs the win more is obvious to me. It's Colorado. It's Deion Sanders. Deion, the way he runs his mouth and has been running his mouth, taking shots at anyone who's taking shots at him, he needs a good first game. He needs a good first impression. Never mind the fact that his kid is the starting quarterback. But this is his first real chance to prove that he can coach in the Power 5. After talking as much smack as anyone possible, which is his brand, I'll give him that. But Definitely. This is his first chance. I mean, TCU coming off the season they had, I definitely think they need, to sort of build on that. But I mean, if you're Colorado, this is it right here. So it's definitely Colorado for me.
I think I'm on board with you. TCU has a bit to play for. I think just obviously the way things went down, just an absolute trouncing in the national championship game. But it is definitely an important game for them, right? Sonny Dykes had a phenomenal year as a first head coach. They have a ton of transfers coming in on offense. It's a very fascinating situation for them. Getting on the right foot, kind of shutting up Deion Sanders would feel nice. But at the same time for Colorado, this is a once proud program that has so much on the line with a brand new head coach. I got to go with you. I think it's Colorado has more to play for here. I'm very, very interested in that game. That one will be taking place at noon Eastern on Fox. Soon to be a Big 12 rivalry game. So that'll be pretty interesting. Alabama had a couple rough years. Georgia's now the prominent figure in the SEC. And now we have no idea what the heck's going on for the Crimson Tide at quarterback, going against a couple guys. What is going on with this situation? How big of a problem is it for Alabama? Could this be another down year for the Crimson Tide?
Okay, here's the thing. You have Nick Saban. That's all I'm going to say. Nick Saban knows he's done this before. He has at least 3 different guys he can use this season, right? There's Ty Simpson, there's Jalen Milroe, there's the Notre Dame transfer, plus the fact that their new offensive coordinator is coming from Notre Dame. I think Nick Saban is going to go with the quarterback that is least likely to commit turnovers. I think this is going to be one of those seasons where he's looking for a game manager, and they've had a lot of great quarterbacks, over the last decade, really. But I think he's going to go with whoever is less prone to make mistakes, because that's just going to frustrate him if they do. And if you remember, he benched Jalen Hurts in the national championship game for Tua. He's not afraid to go with whoever isn't making mistakes and is hot. Whoever has the hot hand, he's going to go with. I still trust Nick Saban more than I would trust, Kirby Smart in Georgia right now, because he's the GOAT. Don't ever doubt the GOAT. What do you think?
It's super interesting to me, right? Alabama has had all these talented quarterbacks the last few years. We're talking about Hurts to Mac Jones, Bryce Young, all these guys. But there was that stretch where Alabama was an absolute powerhouse with actual game managers. I'm thinking about A.J. McCarron. I'm thinking about guys like that. That could be the next phase we're getting into. The thing that concerns me, it's a different ball game now. This is the final year before conference realignment, expanded playoff. We have NIL now. You need flashy quarterbacks that are playmakers in today's age if you want to be a national championship contender. And the fact that they haven't named a starting quarterback does worry me a bit in that regard. But also, the only thing I can keep thinking about at this point is Nick Saban just screaming, "I'm not going to tell you, so quit asking." I guess we'll find out on Saturday, see what happens there. Let's go ahead and move pace. Sunday night is far and away the best game of the week 1 slate. We've got Florida State versus LSU, 2 teams really hoping for national championship contention. Florida State has a ton of very interesting players, but notable alumni Jameis Winston, who is a national champion in his own right, kind of started talking some smack about this game already. He's claiming that Florida State's going to put a whomping on LSU. And given how close last year's game was, I'm a bit surprised by those comments. What did you think about it, Patrick?
Okay, I mean, who's surprised, really? Jameis is being a fan. Well, the only thing I'll say is if Florida State wins, we need him to eat a W. We need him to recreate the
yes.
W just for the memes alone. I don't think he's being delusional. He's literally just being a fan. He's doing what he does as a Florida State fan. To me, I think this is going to be a great offensive game, right? They're two programs that are returning their quarterbacks that are good quarterbacks, which not a lot of top programs can say. I mean, look at what we were just talking about with Alabama, right? They don't have a quarterback named right now. So I think it's going to be a great offensive game, and I think it's going to be close. The only whooping that's going to happen in the state of Florida is the one Hurricane Idalia is doing, which is actually going to come before the game, hopefully, and won't affect it. So I'm expecting just a great offensive game. What do you think?
I thought you were going to talk about Florida Utah on Friday night there as the Gators fan in the chat. I think Jameis might be right. I'm not totally sold on LSU yet. I really don't like Brian Kelly as a coach. I won't explain why. I don't feel like I need to at this point. The guy has done enough. I'm not totally sold on Jaden Daniels as a quarterback yet either. I just think there's a bit missing from his game. I think he drops his eyes too soon when he feels pressure and just wants to scramble. And don't get me wrong, phenomenal athlete, very good scrambling, can make plays off script. I just think he needs more of that consistency when he's in the pocket and needs to throw in rhythm. And this Florida State team is absolutely stacked. I don't think people understand that Jared Verse might be the best pass rusher in college football. Came from Albany, transferred to Florida State last year, was an absolute wrecking ball. I think he would have been a first-round pick in the NFL draft if he went pro last year. He's back. You've got Jordan Travis at quarterback. You've got all of these weapons around him. I just think this is a powerhouse waiting, and I think they are a legitimate playoff contender this year. Very interesting to see. And like I said, I think Jameis is right. I actually think it's going to be a blowout. I don't think it's going to be as competitive as people think. Maybe I'm just going to be proven wrong because LSU just have guys like Mason Smith on defense. Malik Neighbors, an incredibly explosive wide receiver. So we'll just see what happens. But again, not totally sold. If I'm having to go with the final score, I'm going 31-20, 31-17, something like that. I think it's going to be pretty in hand. Why don't we go ahead and move on to upset alert? Again, not the biggest slate of games outside of Sunday night. Friday nights is interesting after what we saw Anthony Richardson. Was Anthony Richardson in Utah? Was that the little pump fake spin on the 2-point conversion last year? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I can't even remember because he had so many highlight plays. I couldn't tell you. But that game was incredible. I know that.
Yeah. I'm can't wait to see him in Indianapolis as a Hoosier. It's gonna be great. But obviously we got some highlight games on Friday and Sunday, but the rest of it's kind of slate non-conference. Should be a bunch of blowouts. But there are some teams that might be on upset alert, and I'm curious if you have a team in mind that you're keeping an eye on.
Yeah, of course, because I have friends who bet money on college football. So I have two. And you've probably seen the headlines now, but Miami, Ohio quarterback Brett Gabbert, the brother of Blaine, for someone like him to talk smack about Miami and say that, he's the real Miami is in Ohio. If you don't back that up, I'm sorry, you got to sit. You got to be benched. You can't play anymore. So I'm on upset alert is the Hurricanes. I got to go with the Miami Hurricanes for that simple fact alone that I think this is going to be this dude's moment where, it's his sort of prove it moment. And I think they take down Miami. I also just hate the Hurricanes and I always have. So I'm always going to say that. And then I have one more. I have Boise State against Washington. I think Washington's on upset alert because Boise State is a good team. And if there is going to be an upset this weekend, I could see it being this. They have a quarterback coming back named Taylon Green, who is a dual threat monster. He had 3 different games last season of 100 rushing yards. They were first in the Mountain West Mountain. So this is a team that kind of has all the talent. They just I feel like they need one of these staple wins here to send them back into national prominence. And who doesn't want to see Boise State back in that national picture? I'm just thinking of the blue field. I don't even know if they have the blue field still.
They still have the blue field. Don't you worry.
I just want to see that on my TV screen. So I'm rooting for Boise State this weekend. Who do you have?
Honestly, before I get into mine, I like both the picks. I got family in Boise State. I got a shadow the coaches at Miami of Ohio this offseason. Miami of Ohio's got some players, man. This is going to be a biased pick. Keep an eye out on Ty Wise, linebacker for Miami of Ohio. Carmel High School grad. Let's go Greyhounds. Just written there. But as far as upsets, I'm going to give a homer pick. And I don't know if it's going to be an outright win or anything, but don't sleep on IU against Ohio State. We don't know who Ohio State's, obviously we just figured out Kyle McCord's going to be the starting quarterback there. I just don't think this is as talented of a quarterback as we're dealing with as CJ Stroud. Indiana, for some reason, I can't explain this. This is just purely a gut thing. They always play the Buckeyes close. I don't understand why. I don't think they're going to win. I genuinely don't. But if we're going like against the spread, I think they cover. That's the only upset I can give you guys. It's a pretty cake slate. You can talk me into, maybe West Virginia gives Penn State a little noise. Maybe South Carolina, upsets Drake May. But other than that, man, like I'm just going to go with that and root for it and then probably turn it off at halftime when it's 49-0.
Here's the thing about this. I feel like we could play quarterback for Ohio State right now and beat Indiana for the simple fact that I'm just throwing screens to Marvin Harrison Jr. and Emeka Egbuka. Like, I'm just getting the ball in their hands and letting them cook. So, like, I don't expect Kyle McCord to be, the next, great thing or whatever, and he doesn't have to be. I think you just got to get the hands in the playmakers.
Dude, he's playing in a hostile road environment in Bloomington, Indiana. I'd be careful there. That's all I'm saying.
All right, I'll give it to you.
Oh my gosh. Again, I'm going to be proven wrong. We'll have this video for when it's 49-0. Just want to thank you guys. Thank you for watching the first episode of FanBuzz Legally. Really excited to have you here. If you've enjoyed the video, make sure you like, subscribe to the channel. That's all we got for today. I'm Patrick. I'm not Patrick. I'm Tyler. This is Patrick. We'll work out the kinks in later episodes. Thanks so much for watching, guys.